Welcome in, race fans, to another edition of In the Dirt. It is April the 8th, 2013. And this weekend, like to kick my tail. You know, they rained out over there at Jackson, the Lucas Oil Show. And so I didn't leave out of town for that, so I stayed, home till Saturday morning. Left Saturday, drove all the way to freaking Kilgore, Texas, which is like 8 hours away, almost 9. Got there, a little time before the races got going, but not much. The race was a pretty interesting race. I mean, the track was probably more of the story than anybody would like for it to have been there at Lone Star. I mean, it was rutted pretty bad, especially in 3 and 4. If anybody's ever seen if you've seen the video on Dirt that I shot, you'll see. I mean, these cars look like they were hitting ramps over there. And at one point, Francis hit the rut perfectly, and it just about turned him all the way over. But it was definitely not the most ideal of track surfaces for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
How's things going out that way tonight?
I'm a little bit winded, I guess. It took a lot out of me to go a 24-hour, 36-hour turnaround. Really, leave it whatever time I left. Saturday morning, and then to come home Sunday afternoon. I think I figured it was like 17 hours of driving. I had 3 hours of sleep, so the rest of the time was spent at the racetrack or working on the footage.
I gotcha.
I've seen the inside of Denny's for about 2 hours longer than I ever should see it. 2 Denny's, actually. Internet was terrible. Beyond terrible at the hotel I was staying at. Won't say any names. Sorry, but it was terrible.
Well, we kicked off racing up here in the northern part of the country, I think, this weekend. And on a sad note, I want to send a shout out to everybody in the Moreland family. Larry Moreland was a huge part of the racing scene around here. I didn't know if you knew that or not, Webb. I'm sure you've seen some of the pictures that he had passed, and his visitation is tonight in Norwood. So if anybody gets a chance to go down and see the family, do that, and send your prayers to him, because Larry sold parts. He was a racer, and really helped a lot of us out. So all my condolences go out to the Moreland family. Just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, that's the sad part about our sport is there's a lot of legends out there, and apparently this guy Larry's one of them. But if nobody sits down and talks to them and gets their stories, they're gone. So I'll never get to meet the guy now. So if you live around some of these folks that have helped build our sport, get their stories, talk to them. Let's preserve some of that. I know a lot of people don't understand that, but I love talking to the dudes that can tell me about any form of racing in the 50s and 60s. But part of the reason I'm even in this sport is my grandfather, died in '63. I never knew him. So that's why I have so much admiration for the sport itself, and then for the drivers, whether I like the driver or not. I could not like my granddaddy for all I know. So, we're going to be losing. We're going to lose legends every day in this sport. We need to talk about them. But have you seen the Supercross that was Lucas Oil? I mean, these guys were driving in ruts like it was a Supercross race.
I'm wondering what Lucas Oil is not into.
No, opposite the track at Lone Star was just like crazy rutted, especially in 3 and 4. Well, even in 1.
Oh, you're talking about a motocross like dirt late model race.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. I mean, the cars were coming out of 4 airborne half the time. It was definitely interesting, and like I said in the open, it was probably a little more of a story than what they wanted it to be. But Jimmy Owens put it in victory lane. Scott Bloomquist finished second.
I did see where there were 2 tow trucks having to take.
Did you do that?
No, I did not.
That was
Did you
weird.
do that?
I know. I lost total control of my board.
Well, you're kind of. I mean, you're breaking up a little bit on my end, but that's not anything that's out of the norm. But speaking of the dirt track hero, what about that? You know, it looks like Mr. Cook finally caught him a big fish.
Oh, you're to talk. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know much about it. I know that it was definitely not on the tips of anybody's tongue for 2 or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden it was, and then I don't know. I didn't know about it. I was looking on Facebook and I seen somebody mention, why isn't anybody talking about this? That's where I found out.
I looked at the picture and I seen, you know, where he finished 5th, and I was like, well, what are they talking about? It took a little bit of time for me to figure out that Ray Cook had caught Bloomer cheating his tires. But let's see, what was the explanation was that there was oil or something on them?
I really don't have an opinion either way.
Well, it's kind of, and you know, I got to thinking. I was thinking about this a lot. Chris Madden has been caught numerous times. Well, let's just make the assumption that all of the tire tests are null and void and don't matter. Okay, that it's wrong. But the facts are, Chris Madden's been caught a bunch of times cheating. I think Eric Jacobson has been caught.
Well, I mean, I guess I guess all you can say is allegedly. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because you know when.
And I'm just saying allegedly.
Allegedly,
but
yeah.
I'm going to make a point. I swear, I promise you, I have a good point, and it's nothing controversial.
Well, that'll be a damn first.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's known that Chris Madden, Eric Jacobson, and various Team Zero cars have been accused of cheating tires. And here's the odd thing: and now Bloomquist is accused of, you know, cheating his tires.
Well, and that word's dangerous. But let's just say, I mean,
he's accused. Yeah, he's accused. That's what I'm saying. They've all been accused of cheating, and it's funny because I noticed a scenario here. All the times that they get caught, they're getting accused of cheating their tires at non-sanctioned events. Okay.
Careful.
Here's the part. Okay, they're at non-sanctioned events getting accused of cheating tires, and it seems like even when they get caught, they're not getting caught as a winner. So I was thinking maybe Team Zero is just trying to show everybody that tire doping does not make you faster. Because he wins a lot of sanctioned event races.
That's interesting. Yeah. So he's just saying so you're looking at it like this. You're saying he's trying to prove to everybody that it doesn't work.
He's trying to prove to everybody, trying to show you all that it does not help you win. Because he won in Florida, but he could only run 5th, and they said he was cheating his tires at, you know, the Ray Cook event. So
that's proof that it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Well, that's very stand-up of Mr. Bloomquist to do that. Okay, you made a great point. I was actually nervous.
I told you.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
No, I'm just telling you that he's trying to show everybody, you know, stop messing with this stuff because it's not going to work, guys. Because, look, I'm winning over here, but when I go over here and they accuse me of cheating tires, I'm not.
Interesting theory. Theory. We'll have to change our little song.
But that was all. That's all I was thinking. Other than that, I mean, when are they going to start handing down some serious penalties?
Which it is neither here nor there for me anymore. At this point, people are just going to do what they're going to do, and it is what it is.
That's where I've came to.
Let's just say this: the track conditions I saw the other night at the event in Texas, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter what you put on the tires. You didn't have them on the ground that much anyway.
No, but you damn well better had them $40,000 shocks.
They had to have something.
Because you need something to keep that car from breaking in half, is what it sounds like.
Well, if you'll do me a favor and reach out to our first guest, I will, and do it in the bubble until you get him.
Okay. I was supposed to do that first, huh?
But that's fine. No, it's fine. We're okay. We're okay.
Check this out though. Here's another good one. Remember that guy last year that was accusing of cheating the modifieds?
Yeah.
Okay. So check this out. He's gotten a killer ride in a late model.
And won.
Yeah, with JP Motorsports, Devin Gilpin got his first win at Moeller Raceway Park Friday night. What do you think about that?
I want him on the show, but he's never acknowledged any requests that we sent him. So Jody Shannon made mention of it today, and I said, hey, I don't mind having it. I'll have anybody who wants to be on the show. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you've done, win or lose. But if you don't answer, they'll talk to you. I'm not even... But anyway, the event over there at Lone Star was a good event. Donald Neal, after the heat races, well, Bobby Pierce set the fast time, and that's awesome. The kid goes down there, and his exact words were, all these big dogs here, and here I am setting the pole. And at least, so that was pretty neat to see that guy do that, leading the Rookie of the Year points, obviously. O'Neal takes off like a bat out of hell first 19 or 20 laps, and he gets a flat tire. Back right flat tire. That's when Bloomquist inherited the lead, and then actually we got to talk to him on the show later. Jason McBride, yes, he had some problems. Something happened to his race car, so he was trying to get off the speedway, and Bloomer had nowhere to go, so he had to check up, and that's what allowed Owens to get by. And after that, I mean, there was very little challenge from Scott. A couple times Scott maybe got underneath or got to him, but he never really could get around him. So Jimmy went on to victory, putting to rest. Brian?
Yes, sir.
We lost the call.
Yeah, he's not there.
Oh, wonderful. That would be.
They said here's what I was told. He's been gone for about an hour. We don't know where he is.
Nice. Well, that's okay. We'll just keep going on. That's fine. Jimmy Owens was supposed to join us here at 10 after the hour.
Something's got him held up with.
Well, that's fine. No, I mean, I'm sure he'll call. Or we'll try it back. Actually, if you'll call back and give him the numbers to the show so he can call us when he gets there, you'll do that.
Okay.
I'll finish my recap of the race at Lone Star.
But anyway, I wasn't finished. I was going to say, I got a feeling that the reason why Devin doesn't reach back is because I heard that he thinks that I don't like him.
Well, do you?
Oh, I have no ill will towards Devin Gilpin. I thought he was winning too many races in a modified, and he needed to move up to a late model.
Well, he took your advice.
Yes, he did. And he did and from what I understand is that he did very well Friday night, which I mean he classed the field because he won the feature. But that was his first late model victory.
Another thing people should know about the show: this show is not about you or I. Not in the least. It's not. The show's about the people we can have on, and the guests make the show. Now, I mean, we could disagree all day long and twice on Sunday. I mean, that's just part of what this show is. There's lots of guys. I mean, personalities clash, and there's people I don't like, but I mean, for the sake of the show, for the sake of promoting the sport, for the sake of those people, that they're welcome on the show. And
I think everyone has a voice that's welcome here.
Yeah, of course. No matter what, even if they disagree with us, they are. Especially you. If you do not agree with us, you are 100%. You are on the top of the list. I'd rather have you than anybody else if you disagree with us. No problem.
Right.
I'm not here to proclaim my expertise or vast knowledge over the sport of dirt track racing. I'm only here to help promote it. That's all I'm doing. But I've never met.
If Devin would have replied to my messages this week, we could have, told the world. But I told the world anyway that you got your first win at Moeller's, and I think I was one of the first people to congratulate you on your Facebook too. But I really wish I would have seen it. Really wish he would have went to Florence the following night.
I think the dude's awesome to put together the win totals he did last year, and anybody I've talked to in the open wheel world, driver wise. Like Jacob Poole or even that Ebert guy we had last week, all of them say they want to go race against Gilpin. So, I mean, he's made himself into the guy that everybody wants to race, like that Sanders cat racing number 20 cars. I think it's Sanders.
Right.
That guy's made himself somebody everybody wants to race against and win. So I got all kinds of respect for Devin.
Yeah, and anybody who's winning like that needs to be criticized. I think it needs to happen.
It's not criticized, but I think
I shouldn't.
Yeah, criticized. What we need to realize is sometimes it goes back to Earnhardt, and I've been told by people in the sport to this day, people in the sport that are in the sport right now, at management levels of series, it doesn't matter what they're saying as long as they're saying it. And there's a certain there's not a certain truth to it. That is the total truth. Part of what we do is okay. So we raise an eyebrow with a comment here and there on certain things. Well, if I can get two people to go to a racetrack to check out the situation on their own, then we've done our job. Do you agree? So that's it's not about trying.
Totally agree, but I'm going back to this call.
Okay, sorry. So so Devin, you're awesome. You moved to Late Models, got a win. Congratulations! I heard you already had 3 or 4, maybe 4 already in their open wheel car. We certainly want to have you on the program. Certainly do, and you're welcome anytime. And if Brian gets out of hand, heck, I'll put the mute button on. I've done it before. Brian will tell you. And he could put the mute button on me if he wanted to, really. He signs into the same thing. Also on the program tonight, we're going to have a regional driver named Brian Ponder. He's a great late model pilot from the Talladega short track. He ended a nearly 5-year winless streak over the weekend. So apparently he did the worm in the post-race celebration somewhere. Accounting. We talked to Brian Ponder. We've got Jason Feger calling in, fresh off his victory at the Illini 100, the first Illinois driver to pick up the honor. So that was certainly a special win for that guy. And at the end of the program, we're going to talk to Jason McBride. Talked to him this afternoon. Really cool guy. He's made it known that he's going to be running for Rookie of the Year points in Lucas. He didn't have a very good turn. He didn't do all that bad. He made the show this past weekend. He had some equipment failure, and then somewhere online, and all I saw was the aftermath. But he made the right side of his car look all kind of crazy. So hopefully we'll get. We got 2 hours to fill. We're fine. Just try to get the nightmare on. But Brian, you back with us?
I'm back. Hey, I've got a surprise for you.
Okay, what's the surprise?
I have a representative of the 20 team on the line.
All right, who is the representative? Introduce him.
I don't know. Who do you think?
Is it Nathan?
It's Jimmy Owens.
Oh, I didn't know if Jimmy was there. Well, Jimmy, welcome to the program, man.
Yeah, this is Chris.
Chris.
He wouldn't do it. I told him. I said just beat Jimmy, and we'll go from there.
Well, Chris, now you guys, you're part of the deal. So, talk to us. How rough was Speed Weeks for y'all?
It was pretty. Well, actually, it wasn't as bad as it kind of seemed. But then when we totaled that race car, that was definitely through a hitch in all our plans. We plan on having 3 cars ready, and we seemed to do pretty good at East Bay. Just we couldn't keep right rear tires on the car. It was a little hard on right rears, but then we got up our Evolution, and we was just off on a few things, and just never could get the speed in the car. First night, had a good qualifying, and then got inverted in the heat, and that place was so fast it's hard to pass on. And then when we messed that car up, it was time to come home, because we had to be able to get a new one together, which it was rolling here at the garage. But it gave us a couple weeks to get it, together before we went to Brownstown.
Did you guys? Now, I was one of the guys on the camera crew for Dirt on Dirt pay-per-view down there, and I actually was like on that wreck, like stink on you know what. Have you guys seen the video?
Yeah, the wreck.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was a pretty lick, pretty good lick.
I mean, but that car was absolutely toasted, right? I mean, it was one of the worst hits I seen. It almost reminded me somewhat of how Clanton did out there in Arizona 2 years ago.
Yeah, he he'd done committed to the high side. I believe it's on the outside of Mars, and committed in there, and it's kind of dark off in that corner anyway. And then McDowell has that dark colored race car, and he got spun around there the wrong way, backwards, and Jimmy had done committed that high side, and everything was so fast down there this year every night, so he didn't have time to do anything. He said, and then there it was, and it was he said it really wasn't sore, but that was one of the worst licks, and then McDowell said that was a pretty hard lick. He was a little sore the next day, I think.
Well, so much of racing is other than the racing. You got luck of the draw when you guys go to draw for qualifying. The track conditions change so much from practice to qualifying but when you guys go back to back winning the Lucas Oil Championship, is it tougher to come back to some hard times like you guys are in right now? Aside from the win over the weekend.
Not really. I mean, we know what we're capable of doing, and it's just getting to that point. We had some struggles at Brownstown early on, and then with that new car, and we'd never. It was a little different race car than what we've had ever since we started running these Bloomquist cars. He'd changed them just a little bit, but we didn't have no practice laps on it or anything. But he was pretty satisfied coming out of there and out of the Consi and then out of the feature the way it felt. So that going into this weekend, he had pretty good confidence, and that's one thing. If you ain't got confidence in your equipment or confidence in your crew or the driver or whatnot, then there's no need in going to the racetrack. So, you just got to keep your head up and, knowing that things will turn around and hope things will turn around, and you can catch a break.
Well, you guys knew over the weekend. I was there at Kilgore myself, but you guys knew early on. I think everybody did that track was going to be on the rough side. How do you guys prepare for something like that? I mean, heat race obviously 10 laps, no big deal, but you get into a 50-lap feature. What do you guys do to prepare the car for something like that it's going to be tough? It's a tough road to hoe in a track like that.
Well, I guess being that was a new car and it just had one night on it at Brownstown, it was awful. It was just smooth and slick up there. So when all of our equipment was brand new, so after the heat, we went over all the bolts on it and just checked everything, nut and bolted really good, and the main thing is make sure your nose piece is high enough off the ground, and then Jimmy, whatever he does with his shocks, I don't even know anything about that, but he does whatever he does, and then he makes all the calls anyway, so, and just make sure everything's, fastened down tight, and he tried to, at the first race, he was trying to conserve and just, was just going to try to finish, and then I think he was, got passed to it by 2 or 3 cars and seen that, he's going to have to get in the gas and then try to make something happen if, and if it did, it did. If something broke, it broke. But, Scott's cars, they're pretty bulletproof. They're built pretty stout and all the parts on them's pretty good. So, going into it, we wouldn't, a part failure with everything being brand new wasn't a big concern, but anything can happen. You could have a Heim or anything, and actually we had a wheel about ready to break out. I don't know how much longer that thing would have made it, but I guess luck was on our side there.
I used to work for a parts company, and I can't and not the Old Man's Garage I worked for, and part failure is not something that happens everywhere, and I've never known a Old Man's Garage J-bar to break, but I've known of other companies' J-bars to break. I can't believe J-bars weren't snapping like twigs. I mean, they were jumping. It looked like they were taking off coming out of 4.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was awful. It was one. I mean, Charlotte didn't have nothing on this place. I mean, back in the day, the old Charlotte. But I'm glad I wasn't out there, and I'm glad I wasn't out there in one of them cars. That's what we was talking about in the infield. I said I'm happy I'm where I'm at tonight. Letting them have it, and everybody was gave everybody pretty much room, and had a good race. Usually I figured there'd be a big pile up and stuff like that, but everybody seemed to have a fairly decent race as far as getting into each other. If you got into somebody on that racetrack, it couldn't have been helped, because you never know whenever you're going to get turned, catch a rut and get turned and turned into anybody or into the wall for that fact. But I'll tell you, it was something else. I think Francis's floor pan got ripped out and couldn't get in the brake, couldn't hit his brakes, and we've actually our car, we've got the rear end out and all the suspension off the front end, the rack, everything, it's done tore apart, just going to replace everything that's, all the components on it, so you just can't take no chances.
All right, Krista, now we got to ask you the question now, and we tried, how much is it crew chief and how much is it driver? And how many times are you wrong and versus right?
Well, you always think you're right no matter what. Yeah. But actually, in our deal, it's like I said earlier, Jimmy's pretty much the crew chief too. I guess I just get to hold that title, and sometimes it makes you look good, and sometimes it don't. But a lot of other drivers do have like a crew chief. But when it comes down to making calls, I might throw a little something at Jimmy or one of the other guys on the team. Throw something at him. We've me and him's first cousins. We've raced all of our life. I've been with him, and so sometimes I just think about what we've done at the racetrack in the past and bring it up to him and throw it out there to him. And if he wants to do it, he tells me to do it, or and then if not, then we don't. But I just check bolts and do tires and that's it. And he makes the final decisions on everything except for maybe tires. And then I kind of pick my own tires, or Earl Pearson Jr. We've run up and down the road with him the last 3 or 4 years, and me and him talk about tires, and he helps me out some on my tires, selection. Just like the other night, I think we was only 3 that was on the same tire. I was only 2 that was on the same 3 tires, us and Earl. I don't know if that had anything to do with that, with it or not coming on late at the end or what, but pretty much everything's left up to Jimmy, and we just go on his call.
Well, speaking of tires.
Speaking of tires, go ahead.
How's this new tire situation with Lucas Oil? How's that affecting the teams?
Well, I guess this past weekend that whoever the distributor was down there didn't, where they've not got a lot of them tires in, and they was just planning on doing that one race, and then Jackson got called off, and Hoosier Tire South was doing Jackson, so they was going to have quite a bit of selection of tires at Jackson. And when he got called off, there was a few people scrambling for tires, down there at Kilgore, because that guy didn't have a lot of them Lucas tires on his truck, so it kind of made it a little hard there. But as far as I don't see much different, other than it does keep us from carrying so many tires. There's so many right rear construction tires. I think there's 3 or 4 different constructions that you could do. And it was getting to be, whereas, you had to have one of each and then one in every compound. You're looking at, sometimes you might have, 3 compounds and 4 different constructions. You might be carrying 8 to 10 right rear tires only, in the hauler. And so it's definitely, it's going to help that.
Well, we're talking to Chris Fox, the crew chief for the 20 car, and Jimmy is out of the shopper now, which is cool. You know what? We need to get more crew chiefs on, Brian.
Yeah, it seems like you get a little more information.
Well, it's not that, but we haven't really. This is our first crew chief really we've talked to.
Well, we've had Randall
Oh, that's right. And Randall Edwards, I forgot about that. Well, Chris, I know you guys are busy getting working there in the shop, and I appreciate you taking time. Tell Jimmy we'd like to get him back on at some point. But before we let you get out of here,
we'll tell Jimmy we ain't fooling with him anymore. We'll just talk to me. Anytime you want to talk to Jimmy, you just put me on here. I'll do it.
That's right. And as soon as Nathan gets to racing, we need to talk to him too.
Okay, yeah, it might not be long. Yeah, he gets on one movie, and you've got to watch that movie 4 or 5 times a day. So this whole weekend, we've pretty much watched Speed Racer probably 4 times a day. And then actually, when he got in from school today, first thing he wanted to do was watch Speed Racer. So he's already seen Speed Racer the movie already 1 time again today. So well, at least it ain't the Power Rangers. He's been on Power Rangers for about 3 weeks now. So
my favorite to date is. Jimmy had him on his shoulders during an interview we did with Dirt on Dirt, and he says that he took a dump on his shoulders while we were doing the interview. That's great. I'll have to send that tape or the video to you guys. But hey, before we let you get out here, man, I want you to thank some of the guys that helped you get that 20 car and keep it together, and also some of the sponsors on it.
Okay, yeah, the whole crew, Kenny Holt, Chad Bryant, Anthony McMahon, Jeff Strope. Got to thank them, man. You got to thank Nathan too. He's up here and he'll hand you wrenches or do whatever he can do when he's not busy watching DVDs. But we can't do this without Mike Reese. Reese Monument, him and his whole family. They've been great to us, and got to thank him. Gann Appraisals, Olin Shocks. Got to thank them. They come in big for us this weekend, as you was there, so you can tell. Sunoco Race Fuels. Redline Oil, they've been with us since the modified days. Basically, Scott Bloomquist Race Cars, he builds a good car. Got to thank him. Heck, I don't know any. There's more I'm missing. Chris Davis at Midwest Sheet Metals, he came on board with us a couple of years ago, and he's a good guy and helps us out a tremendous amount. Cornet Racing Engines, got to thank Jack. He builds a good engine. We've had great luck out of them the last couple of years. Peterson Oil Systems, and Lucas Oil too. Everybody got a little bent out of shape, and including myself about that racetrack down there. But it's out of their hands. They do a good job and do the best they can do with what they got, and try to keep us in races. And that whole Lucas Oil staff is a good. They're good quality people to work with, and I know they probably don't get recognized as much as they need to, but you got to thank them and Hypercoil Springs and Kaiser Manufacturing and Arizona for doing their shirts, and then Mike and Amy Hayes. They travel pretty much everywhere we go and run the souvenir trailer. So got to give a shout out to them. And if I've left anybody out, I'm sorry, but when you get put on the spot like that, sometimes it's hard to think of everybody.
I still have your guys' 2011 water here in my office.
That's great.
Y'all gave it to me at Paducah. I'm gonna put it on eBay in about 25 years when it'll be worth $500 maybe.
I hope so. I hope people are still thinking about us in 25 years.
All right. Well, I'm sure they will. Yeah, they're not gonna forget about you, y'all. Well, Chris, thank you very much for joining us, and tell Jimmy we'll get him back on another time.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
That was a pretty good interview to start. I'm gonna bring the next guy on. Will you police the we got a little log jam now?
Yeah, I'm working it.
Okay. Welcome to the program, buddy of mine, local guy at Talladega Short Track, Mr. Brian Ponder.
How you doing, Will?
What's going on, brother? You guys.
Not much.
So tell me about the streak before we get to the event on Saturday night.
Well, it's May 12th, 2008 was my last win. And as I told you the other night, that's as close to 5 years as you're going to get.
Well, closer than anybody wants to get.
Exactly.
So, and you always run the weekly series crate racing over there at Talladega, or have you guys run up different classes and whatnot?
No, I started out in I believe it was 2003, running their sportsman division, and I got into the crates. I guess toward the end of 2007, and that was when I started with the Neesmith series.
So you've been and Talladega is one of the places where, I mean, you're going to race the same guys pretty much every week. I mean, you're going to have a few guys come in and out on occasion, but you're racing against a pretty good, talented bunch of guys over there. What was the closest you got to win in that nearly 5-year period?
Well, I probably finished second too many times to count. I'd say I've had at least 7 or 8 second-place finishes in that time. Real close, just never could get it, you know what I mean? And, over the years, I pretty much run top 5, top 7, something like that every week.
And when like the Ice Bowl, is that, when you look at the Ice Bowl, is that something that, I mean, you'd like to have that trophy on your shelf for sure, being a Talladega regular?
Oh, no doubt. I've run it pretty much. I've only missed 2 years of the Ice Bowl since 2003, and I've made it. I believe I've made it 7 times and missed it 3 throughout the years.
Well, when you see a guy like Ross Martin win like the super late model division of the Ice Bowl, I mean, that's got to give you guys who are local in other classes that, you know, hey, I got a shot to win this too. If a guy like if Ross Martin's going to win it, especially when he was in the 525 motor against all them open motors.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Talladega is a track that, you know, if you get your setup right, I mean, I seriously think when the summer comes around, if a guy with a 604 motor gets his setup right, I believe he could win a super race at Talladega. I honestly do.
Is that just because of what the track does in the middle of the summer? It's real hot and greasy, and it's just greasy and slick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real dry slick. I mean, if you can get that set up good where you can roll your car in the corner and get it to rotate in the center and you know, get as much throttle as you can off. I mean, it's a track that, you know, motor and everything at Talladega. That's
right. Now, okay, so talk me through getting there this weekend. It was just like any other night pulling in the gate over there. Tell me about the time you really knew you had something, and then talk us through the event. Well,
I mean, my job, I work 6 or 7 days a week, and it was like any other week, other than my car was still sitting in the shop at 4 o'clock when I got off work at 3:30. Drove home about 90 miles an hour on a 60-mile-an-hour road, and was basically in a hurry. And you know, the car was ready. I just had to load all the pieces up and, you know, whatever parts I needed, and then loaded the car up, and we actually didn't pull out of my driveway until about 5:40, and we got there about 6:10, and just to be honest with you, I had a really good car in the hot laps, but in the heat race, Mr. Gates and Burns, he won the heat race, and I finished second, and I mean, he made me look silly in the heat race. I mean, I really had no clue what to do to the car. I mean, the track was really, it was coming apart is what it was, like the top layer of it. And when we were out there, and I mean, I'll just be honest with you, I didn't know what to do to the car, and so I didn't touch for the heat race, from the heat race to the main. And I mean, the track just come around to me, and probably the fastest car I've ever had on the track.
Well, I mean, so you guys finished second in your heat. Where did you say you started in the feature?
I started third.
So you started third. I mean, who's in front of you in the feature? In the first row.
Gates and Burns started on the pole. And a 141 car, I don't know him. He started on the outside pole. And then me, and we had Carlton Freeman on the outside of me.
Veteran.
And the veteran, yes, sir. And behind me, I can't remember who all started where, but I know it was a firestorm because we had several coming. It started way back, and I knew I'd have to deal with them before the race was over, but I didn't think it'd be that quick.
Gotcha. So talk me through the last. When did you take the point?
Actually, I inherited the point, and that's kind of the only thing that bummed me out for the whole night. I believe I might have had a shot at him, but Jason Burns was leading, and it sounded like he had maybe ignition trouble or something like that. About lap 4 or 5, we kept having several cautions, and he had ignition. I believe it was ignition trouble, and I basically inherited the lead. But I believe if you ask anybody there, I fought hard to keep it. I'll put it that way.
Hell, Brian, a win's a win, man. It don't matter.
Well, I know. Yeah, I understand that.
Were you the first? Were you the first? Were you the first one to that checkered sheet?
Oh, no doubt about that.
Well, that's all that matters, baby. If you see the laundry first, you got it done.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out. So, how's this change? I mean, of course, you're a racer and you're going to be there every week or whatever, but how's it change the outlook for you for the rest of the season? I mean, do you got a good notebook from the other night? Are you going to be able to take some things away from the win and use them the rest of the season? So what's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I like I said, I'm generally a pretty good running car at Talladega. I'd like to go to a few other tracks this year. Like I said, with my job, it's going to be mostly Talladega, and I might possibly venture off maybe the Penton Raceway for some of the Lee Smith Touring Series races, and I'd really like to get over to Mississippi and try a couple of those races on Memorial Day weekend, but it's all going to depend on my job, and I won't know until the week of whether or not I'll be able to make it or not.
Well, certainly we'd love to have you at any of the Neesmith events, whether it be a weekly series race in the Columbus area or down at Penton or even a touring race, whatever. I would sure love to have you. But before we let you get out here, man, I want you to thank any of the sponsors that are on that 29. Hey, Brian, what's interesting about the 29?
Well, it looks just like a Lanigan 29.
Lanigan stole it from Brian Ponder. That's where. Yeah.
Is that's true, huh?
Yeah, well, it's true now. We're gonna make it so. But before I let you get out here, I want you to think if Lanigan's Club 29, we got to make him. What would it be? You're the organization 29.
All right, that'll work.
You down with that? Okay. Before I let you go, thank some of the sponsors on the 29 car and any of the crew members that helped turn the wrenches and get that victory over the weekend.
All right. Well, first, I'd like to thank Ricky Cooper from Ricky's Machine Welding. He's one of y'all's certified rebuilders, and I've known him since I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and he helps me out a lot, just thinking things through. And I'd like to thank Robbie Bilbert with RPI Racing Shots, and Chris Medley from Modern Images for getting me the awesome wrap on my car. And as far as crew, I'm pretty much it. Some of my kids, they try to help me out, but most of the time it's me. So that's what makes it mean a lot, I guess, is knowing that I've done it, putting the car together and whatnot, pretty much myself. So anybody wants to help me, crew, they're welcome to it. Come on out there anytime we're ready.
I probably wouldn't be much help to you because in one hand would be a Coors Light. I don't know if I can do much with that. With one hand would have a Coors Light in it. Well, Brian,
I don't need to. After the after party the other night, I need to stay away from them adult beverages.
Yeah, somebody said you did the worm in a celebration somewhere. So.
Yeah. Early Sunday morning.
That's probably that's an after effect of Coors Light, I'm sure.
Among other things.
Yeah. All right, Brian. congratulations on your big win. I really appreciate you you're one of our faithful listeners, and you talk to me nearly on a weekly basis, so I appreciate everything you do, encouraging us for the show, and hopefully get you back on here in another victory, man.
All right, well, I appreciate you having me on.
Brian Ponder of the organizational 29 car at Talladega Short Track. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep on moving.
I thought that 29 looked pretty familiar.
The 29 did look all familiar. I teased him about it. I said, "Did you get permission to use that?" And he actually told me the first time I mentioned the 29 to him that the Lanigan crew stole it from him. So I just had believed that be true. But speaking of getting to the laundry first and it being a humongous win for somebody, welcome Illini 100 winner Jason Feger to In the Dirt. Jason, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh, just another Monday, and I think I've talked to you since the last time you were on the show. You were the second most listened to show in the history of the program. We had like 8,000 listens for Rayburn, and you were right there underneath about 7,400 for the week you were on previously.
Cool. Well, that's good. Hopefully we can get some good following again tonight.
So you guys, and of course, I do a little bit with Dirt on Dirt and stuff, and I listened to Rigsby's interview, and there was a lot of firsts for you this weekend. First, talk to us about the event, and at what point of the evening, or of the weekend, did you guys know, hey, this may be able to work for us?
Honestly, we were pretty confident all week, and after practice, we were confident too. And car was really good practice, and then good hot lapping and qualifying. And I kind of knew that the car was good enough. I just didn't know if I was good enough. You know what I'm saying? We raced one last week in LaSalle. We ran like a 30 lapper, and then had some problems right away the second night. So I really didn't have any, any seat time this year. Usually we raced a bunch by now, but it takes a few nights to get back into rhythm and just kind of not get everything in routine with the pits and car and adjustments and everything. And I don't know, we had a little luck, and the car was real good, so that made it a little bit easier. But I still have a little bit to do as a driver. I still don't think I drove my best race, but I got it done. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and before we get to the actual event itself in more detail, I wanted, among the Illinois guys, listen to me, been in the South too long, Illinois guys, this is one of those races that it had to irk you guys to see the people come in and win it and not being the guy from Illinois. Has any of the other Illinois drivers called you or talked to you at the racetrack or called you afterwards?
Actually, I think Shirley's the only one that, we talked at the track, and then some of the other local guys, and then, but Brian called me yesterday too, and, a couple of my buddies like Dustin Griffin and Craig Smith, they both race around here. They both called me as well. And of course, Pierce has called me as well too. So, yeah, I've definitely talked to some of them. So. And also in your interview there, you talked about driving around your victory lap and soaking it in, and how many faces did you how many faces did you see, and just glad to see them rooting you on out there for your victory lap? Well, I saw a lot of faces, and then a lot of them, I know, and they're real good friends and sponsors, and then a lot of them, I just recognize they're NOAA fans, and then a lot of other ones too. But I went around there about twice as slow as I usually go around there, but just trying to, like I say, take that moment in and remember as much of it as possible, and it was definitely pretty special.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it just seems when a hometown guy wins, it's like when we had a guy down here, Ross Martin, win the Talladega Ice Bowl, and he'd been to every one but one or whatever. He was in a 525 motor. It's just special when the local hero, especially, good Lord, 100 lapper, $20,000. How's that change any kind of scheduling you guys may have had prior to the victory? Does it change your schedule?
It's probably not going to change my schedule. We just, I'm a self-funded race team. We go where we think we can make money on what money we've won, and we're just going to go to the tracks that we run good at and see what happens, and get the bank account, try to build up. So if we do need to go somewhere, we can, but we'll hit all the big races around here, and of course the big races at Eldora and the Summer Nationals was kind of our big thing, and Knoxville and Cedar Lake, you know. So, but it's just nice to, you know, if I need to go somewhere when the racing around here slows down, have some money, you know, to go down to Charlotte or some other races farther away, you know.
Well, back to the event. I'm looking at the finishing order. It's just amazing. I mean, you've got to be amazed at the guys who are right behind you, some of the hottest guys in our sport. Of course, you had the legend Billy Moyer. I haven't seen the entire video. You were probably well aware that he was behind you, right?
I was really aware of that for sure. So it's yeah.
How does that change? How does that change your approach to waning laps when you have, you know, one of the winningest drivers behind me? Were you a little more puckered than you would be in other?
Well, actually, the longer the race went, the more comfortable I got. It's just the 100-lap races. I mean, I've ran my fair share of them, but I guess I haven't ever led a big one, you know. And it's a lot different when you lead than it is when you follow, because they did a little bit of track prep, and the track was pretty fast early, and you can really use up your equipment if you're going as fast as you can, and you get your tires too hot and start chunking out and stuff. And I was trying to set a pace that I thought was a good pace, you know, I knew I could go faster if I needed to, but I didn't want to set a pace to, you know what I'm saying, I guess a comfortable pace that was manageable, and that's really hard to do when you're the leader, you know, from the get-go. It's a lot easier to pass a couple guys and then lead because you know what's going on as far as the lines and what everybody's pace is and stuff like that. So that was kind of the most nerve-wracking for me. And the longer the race went, you know, the more comfortable I got. And then especially, you know, I know he pulled up next to me a couple times, but, you know, and that definitely got me a little nervous. But, you know, that was in lap traffic, which was pretty tough to deal with because they're all really good cars. So I figured he was going to be able to get me in lap traffic, you know, probably. But I knew when the yellows come out at the end, when I had open track, I knew we were really good, and I knew I had a little more in the tank if I had to, too.
Well, coming up this year, the UMP guys have kind of, I don't know if it was watered down the Hell Tour is the way to say it, but they've not expanded it. They just put more days off in there. As a competitor, is that something that you're going to like, or do you like it the other way, or what's the new format's is that going to change the way you handle it, or you can be able to race other places? What do you like or dislike about the new way they're going to do the Hell Tour?
I think it's definitely going to be better. I just hope they don't fill in some of the days and actually give us some days off. Our racing's really changed a whole bunch, I think, since I've started doing it in the past 10 years. And it's really hard to race night after night and to do the way we race. Our races, it seems like more and more you win these races in the shop. You know, everything needs to be exactly perfect. And you need to be organized. You need to be ready to go. Your tires need to be right. If you ever get behind, it's harder to overcome that, you know, once you're at the track. So you really need to have that stuff 100% right. And you figure most of the time we work all week just to go racing for 1 or 2 nights a week. So when you go trying to throw that in there, man, there's so much stuff that's easy to get overlooked, or if you do get behind, you can't get caught back up. And it just, the way these cars have changed and stuff, it's just getting more and more critical, all the little details, as tight as the competition is. So on that Summer Nationals deal, the toughest thing is, you know, you're going to have, you know, our 10 guys or so that's followed that whole tour, and we're going to roll into like say last year, we go roll into Florence and Brush Creek. Well, now you're going to have 15 cars show up. Like, you know, you had Eddie Carrier and the Neats, and I think Donnie O'Neill was there, and it was just a lot of Conleys and a lot of other good cars, Case Bolt, stuff like that run good there. So now we're not at a track that's our normal track, and these guys have worked on their car all week, and they're rolling out 100% ready to go, where we're travel wore out, where cars are getting not where they need to be, and they just really make it tough on us, you know. That's the toughest thing about it.
Last year, and I just, you know, Rigsby has done the whole thing, you know, before. And it's amazing to me. I did it for 4 days, and it killed me. And more so, I think, because of the heat, because I had the hottest races. It was like 110 at Paducah and 100 in hell at I-55. I mean, it was just terrible, heat-wise. But on my end, hopefully it's not going to be as bad as that. I got 2 weeks of that deal. I'm watching some of this feature here, Jason, and there was a mess behind you the whole freaking time. You definitely were the class of the field, and there was a class of guys behind you that were just all over. You were just so much better than Burkhoff, Clanton, Moyer, McCready,
Scott James.
Looks like Lanigan was in there. Unbelievable. You should be more than proud of yourself for the guys that you guys beat. Especially the Capital car has been hot this year. McCready's trying to make the Warrior work again. Scott James obviously has been pretty hot in the Warrior house car. Does it make it any sweeter that it was a Woo sanctioned event and you had the who's who of Woo? I'm not trying to sound like Dr. Seuss, but you had them all there. That makes it really sweet.
Yeah, that makes it really good. I mean, I really love racing on that World Outlaw Series. I mean, get along really good with all those guys, and so I mean, a lot of them guys came over after the race and told me good job, and they were glad to see me win it and stuff, and so that made it really good. And of course, I raced against Billy quite a bit during it because he does a lot of the summer nationals and stuff. So, but he's probably the best there's ever been. So it's hard to. You got to be excited when you can beat that guy, especially at Farmer City. I mean, his track record at Farmer City is pretty dang good. I've been watching him win a lot of races ever since I was a little kid. Seems like almost probably all the big races. So it definitely was pretty neat. I mean, to more special to be able to help beat those guys. So.
Are we going? How many more of the World of Outlaw shows are we going to catch you at this year?
I haven't even really sat down and looked at the schedules, to tell you the truth, but I mean, I would definitely do the Cedar Lake, and we got a few around here. I mean, Peebly has some, and we got the one at Fairbury, and I'm not even sure. I haven't even really looked at the schedule, to tell you the truth, too much. We've been working so hard in the garage, we've just been working on other people's stuff. I'm just kind of been taking it as it comes, you know what I'm saying? I've only been working a week or 2 weeks ahead of time right now. So we're still trying to get caught up. Once we get caught up, maybe we'll do some more planning.
Well, I still want you to come down for one of those Lake Mississippi races, the Fall Classic or the Cotton Picking. I think you'd really enjoy those. I know you came down for the cow something World of Outlaw deal at Columbus.
Why not? I don't remember which one it was. Early in the year we went to the Bull Ring, and then I think we went to Why Not there late this year.
That's right. You guys were there. It was Fall Classic. You were there last year for
the Fall Classic. Yeah. We came down for the Fall Classic. So, yeah. But no, I'd love to get back. Like I say, if it was up to me, if I had the budget, I'd be everywhere. We'd go to Mississippi. We'd go out to Arizona. We definitely would have been in Florida. We'd be everywhere, So.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations on the huge win. I mean, I know that means just looking at the video of you guys celebrating. I mean, I've seen you happy before during a win, but I could just tell that meant a lot to you guys. Before we let you get out here, thank some sponsors on that 25 car, and also thank the guys that turned the wrenches.
Well, we got to get his opinion on something though, Webb.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad, Brian. See, Brian, you got to just jump in, man. My bad.
I know, I'm intrigued. I'm listening. Well, I don't know if you heard earlier, but I had this theory that Scott Bloomquist was proving to everybody this past week that tire prep does not help you win. What's your take on Madden and all the Team Zero guys testing the tire prep at these unsanctioned events, and they're not winning races, but they're getting caught with tire prep, but they're winning everywhere else?
I don't know. It's definitely a sticky subject, and I don't know. I mean, I don't lie to people. I have ran it. I've used the stuff, and I've never ran it at the big races because of fear of being caught, but I've tried it at some local events and stuff, and honestly, I mean, I've had some success with it, but I haven't done a lot. You probably haven't done it the way the prep guys say. I haven't done it the way they say to do it, But I am so inconsistent, you're worse off with it than you are, you know what I'm saying? You can't find consistency with the stuff I've tried. The few times I've tried it, I've really struggled. So I don't know. For me, I just say leave it alone and worry about other stuff, because there's so many other stuff that makes me better than that. I don't know. But I know if a guy ran one place for certain tire rules, there's definitely advantages there at certain times, but I don't know, man. It's a lot of gray area, because it's a lot of who's who and who you know, and you know what I'm saying, like how you can get away with, and the way the procedures that they test this stuff isn't right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I'm not scared to talk about anything. I'll tell you.
Well, the curious thing about it all, Jason, is if somebody uses a sniffer, then they scream lab, and then if somebody gets busted by the lab, then they're like, oh well, it's something else. So I mean, and what's funny is that it all appears it's always deflection. Whenever it happens, no matter who it is, it's always deflection if they get caught. No matter how they get caught, it's always deflection.
But there's been guys that step up and said their stuff's cheated. And
oh, yeah, true.
Those series, they'll tell you, like, if you just come clean and tell me that tire is cheated and do it again, or you know what I'm saying, you pretty much will get a slap on the wrist and get away with it. Well, if you want to fight them and they can prove it, then they're not going to be as friendly about it. I mean, that's my understanding on it. But I'm going to tell you, like, there's a lot of politics involved in this sport behind the scenes that people can't even believe, and I really don't even want to tell people, just for the simple fact that it makes our sport look bad, and it shouldn't be that way. But I mean, let's just face it, that's the way the whole world revolves. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't know. And geez, you could write a book about it. You know what I'm saying?
How did you know? How did you know, Jason?
Well, I can tell you because I've done this for a long time, and I mean, I can tell you, like last year, they tried saying that my tires were cheated, and I can guarantee you 100% there was nothing on my tires. And I just kind of feel it was to get certain people away and to make people happy. But that comes to why I never got no penalties, because it wasn't cheated.
Yeah.
You know,
my question was,
and I can tell you this, though, too. Do you really think Lucas Oil is going to kick Scott Bloomquist off of Lucas Oil Tour? Or Earl Pearson Jr. or Jimmy Owens? Let's be realistic. There is no way that is going to happen. That's just bad business. I mean, I'm not saying they do it on that series. I'm not saying they do or don't. I'm just saying at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to do what's best for your business. And it's big business at that, and they're not going to make bad business decisions, and that goes for everybody that runs a successful business. I mean, you got to do what's best for your business. So there's just it's an unnecessary evil that I really don't want. I mean, it just makes our sport ugly. You know what I'm saying? And it's better if I don't know what the right answer is. I wish there was a right and a wrong where they could just say, hey, this is it and that's not it. But I can also tell you, I don't think that the way most of these series test the tires is accurate either. Like, I do feel like when I go get my tires sampled at Lucas Oil, they do the most fair sampling procedures as far as the way they seal everything, and they give you samples, and they take better samples, and like I feel like they do the better job at that, but then you never see them again. So, but I mean, I know for that aspect they do the best way, but like, if you go to a UMP race, they might only take one guy's sample. Well, you can't just take a one guy's sample. You need to take samples from at least three guys at that same racetrack, so you know the outside elements. You know,
that's a good point.
There's a lot of things. They're just like, this weekend I was, they sampled all my tires all weekend at the World Outlaw Show, and then they did the top 3 or 4, top winner of every heat, and the top. I think they might have done the top 3 in every heat. And there's just a lot of unknowns, even as a driver, that I don't know about what happens after that. And I really think that the drivers.
Well, do you think
maybe they need to get together at IMIS or something? They need to have a driver seminar or something and bring in somebody from these labs and let us know what happens and this and that, because I really have no idea.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Should it be more?
That's kind of
should the whole process be more transparent? Because I think it should be more transparent. I think it should be because it's like the government telling us what's good for us. Don't question us. It's just because we're telling you it's this way. And
I think they should come out and say, "Hey, yeah, we found Castrol silicone brake fluid in your tire. Is what we found."
Well,
I think they should tell you exactly what they found in it. What is it that you found that makes it a discrepancy?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, I think especially on your major series, like we should be the drivers. I mean, it should be public knowledge. Either the drivers or the fans should be able to get an email from the lab whenever that email result's done. It should go directly to all the drivers and at least all the drivers that run that series or were at that event. If not, it should be public knowledge. So what's it matter? I mean, if it's right or wrong, it should just be public knowledge. It doesn't matter, and it should be right from the lab, And I've said that for a long time, and that's not the case, and I don't like that. But there's just so many unknowns, even as drivers, that you don't know, and we just like to know, okay, black, white, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the bottom line. And I don't know, like I say, that anything can happen, and then it also goes back to our tires. I mean, our tires come in the open. They come sitting next to other tires. I mean, a dealer can go buy tires and take back tires, and then they get resold to somebody else. Or what if a guy goes and to a local track dealer and he trades in a new tire and takes a different compound of a new tire? I mean, you have no idea, no way of telling. Like I say, it's just such a big gray area, and there's so many possibilities for errors that it's just not a good procedure at this point in time, And
that hurts the overall policing of it too, because if there's that many variables, if in fact there's that many variables for errors, there's that many more opportunities to try to get by with it, and that's probably a fair statement.
Well,
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I just want them to let me know what's in it. That way I can go and get my own.
Well.
I don't know. I'm a firm believer that tire should come vacuum sealed in a bag from Hoosier. You know what I'm saying? And that way, if a guy buys a tire that's not in a bag, you know the chance you're taking with that tire.
Wow, that's a great idea. And that's
there you go.
That's the first good idea I've heard.
We're paying $160 or so for a UMP tire, and we don't even know where that tire's been. They should all have scan codes on them. I mean, there's so much stuff they could do that, I don't know.
For what they're charging for a tire, they could do that.
I believe so. And I would have a lot better peace of mind. I mean, because people have claimed that it's happened, and people say it does happen, that, I got this tire right from so-and-so, or this or that. Or, I mean, you might be at a track and need a tire from a guy, and you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's brand new groove, at least then it gives you that peace of mind that says, hey, okay, then Hoosier I would think would be fine too, because they could take back a tire that wasn't opened. It would make everything a lot easier for the dealers, drivers, everybody. And I'm not just saying Hoosier. I mean American Racer, everybody. I mean, because Hoosier's a good sponsor of mine. But it just, overall, there's just so much gray that it's a bad deal. I mean, to me, it's no different than the baseball thing, At the time, they busted all these guys for HGH and everything. Well, at the time, it wasn't illegal because they didn't have a test for it, and it wasn't a known substance. So how can you, say, okay, well, we found this new deal, so we're going to go back and figure it out, And it's like, I don't know. I wish there was a good way. I wish there was an accurate way, because I think it would keep everything better, and we got a lot more things to worry about than just that. But I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you, we're pretty lucky in our area, because I don't think, I mean, I know it goes on, but it's not like it's rampant like it is in some other parts, and we're on a pretty small tire rule as well, So I don't know. It's a really tough thing, and I mean, I just wish there was a good way that they could either be right or wrong. I mean, and I think that's why so many guys are pro. Okay, you can't catch it, you can't police it, you can't tell me what's right, what's wrong, or the way of the procedure. So I think that's why so many people say just make it open. Just let us do it. I mean, I know there's a lot of bad things that can happen, but in honesty, it's kind of, they can't really catch it. So, and there's so many politics and other stuff. But also, if you just open it up, it wouldn't matter. It'd be the same for everybody, other than the testing and the more work and all this and the health stuff. So, yeah, it's really it's just a nightmare. It really is.
That way, and I think the danger of the hauler blowing up would go down 100% if they had the cookers out in the open.
Well, all right. Well, and we're carrying 100 gallons of racing fuel around too, so and plenty of oil and everything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely. But Jason, just your openness and the way and your candidness when you come on the program. You're easily one of our favorites here on In the Dirt. Like I said, you're welcome here anytime. Congratulations on the big win. Enjoy the win, but the season is young. There's still more money for you to go out there and get, and flags. But before we let you go, thank those guys on the. Did you already think that? I can't remember.
No, we didn't. We got into. Okay. I know that's a good favorite topic for everybody there. And
well,
some guys won't talk about it, and like I said, I want the problems all fixed because I'm going to be here for a long time. So
listen,
I'd like to see a good way for everything.
You, Shane Clanton, and Randy Weaver. You three guys. I think if more guys were like you, there would be a solution. It's got to come from the drivers. It's not going to come from people in the media like me. It's not going to come from the tire company. It's going to have to be something the drivers all just sit down and do. And whether it's for or against it, it's got to be the fair for everybody, because that's the part that annoys the hell out of me, is if there is an advantage. And it's not the fact that it's the cheating, or it's the. To me, it's the sneakiness and the research to get that extra. To me, that's the part that I don't like. That's the part that seems devilish. Or seems, and I know racing is born out of this, and you go up against the rules to the 100,000th degree.
And you're right, Webb. It's the sneakiness, this and that. I don't mind all that. What I mind is the unneeded expense.
And that too, because that kills it. That kills everything. And I know we got Jason McBride on hold, and Jason, I know you can hear us. I apologize. We're going to get right to you. But that's what's killing the sport, is the unneeded expense on a lot of things, not just dope in a bottle, or whatever you want to call it. I think too, a lot of guys look up to guys like you, Jason, and like guys like Scott Bloomquist and Jimmy Owens and all these people, and they want to emulate you guys. And it's just, I think it sets a bad precedent for the people coming up in the sport, and that's the part that sucks.
I agree. I can't figure out is, like at Eldora and the Crown Jewels, everybody's out there on brand new tires. Why doesn't Hoosier have a truck full of tires and they all have a number and for a right front tire, and we go draw a pill and that's Harden tire, whatever tire's on that number, and every that weekend you go buy your tires, and then you don't even have time to, you know what I'm saying? But make it a rule. You can't make it just like wide open. But when we do these Crown Jewel events, make it a tire rule. You know what I'm saying? And if you can make it a tire rule, then do it that way. Because everybody's on brand new tires anyway, so what's it matter? So then you know what you have. I mean, that to me is the easiest solution to police it for now, but it's just hard to say,
Yeah.
It's just one of the things. There's downfalls to everything. There's no easy solution. But is McBride going to run that whole Lucas series?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just bring him on real quick.
Me and Jason are pretty good buddies, so.
All right, let's bring him on real quick. Welcome to the program for his first visit to In the Dirt. Jason McBride, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
We got your buddy Jason Feger on the telephone with us, and I'm sure you heard what we were talking about. First of all, his question was, you guys have just announced, according to your website, that you guys are going to pursue the Rookie of the Year on the Lucas Tour?
Yeah, we're going to try it.
Cool. Good luck, bud. That's cool. I'm sure we'll probably see you at Paducah this weekend, right?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's too close to home. Pays too good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Matter of fact, Jason, okay, now we got two Jasons on. Feger, Feger, when we talked to Jason this morning about being on the show, I was like, yeah, we got Jason on too. It's going to be an Illinois show. And he goes, yeah, but he said, I didn't win $20,000. I said, well, that's okay.
He made some big gains last year, man. He really came a long way last year, and he's been in the hunt a few nights for some good races.
Jason, are you glad to see? Jason, McBride, are you glad to see an Illinois guy finally take home that big money there at the 100?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm glad it was them, because they definitely put their time in and worked just as hard as anybody, and I think they deserve it.
Well, we didn't get a chance to talk to Jimmy Owens. We talked to Chris Fox instead of Jimmy Owens. So, give us a first-hand account. Tell Feger and also Brian Gray, my co-host, just how damn rough was the speedway at Lone Star.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I think I spent more time on one wheel than I did on all four. I mean, there was a couple times I don't think anybody could have a consistent lap I mean, you just drive off, especially in 3 and 4 there. They had, I mean, like there was one lane wide that was actually smooth, and then everything above that you were ripping your nose off and bending everything up underneath it. So, I mean, it was a little bit out of control, really.
Well, and I can't speak from any kind of experience of tooling around a speedway in a dirt late model, but I can tell you, hitting a pothole at 80 miles an hour on the interstate sucks. Is it like that over and over and over and over again?
You just got to hit it harder, Webb.
That's right. I mean, that's the thing. It's just kind of whoever can bounce through them the best. And, I mean, it seems like, I mean, it kind of jerks the wheel out of your hand almost sometimes whenever you hit it just wrong. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've never had my pickup off 4 wheels off the ground in that thing, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily very close.
It was a Rayburn moment.
Oh.
That's right. That's right.
Same thing. Now, up north, you know, some of the tracks are a little bit more rough and tackier than what they are down south, and some of the tracks you'll probably see on Lucas Oil. Do you have luck on the slicker tracks, McBride?
You know, I didn't used to, and I feel like last year we finally got to where, I mean, I got a little better on them. But I mean, there's like them guys. You can tell the guys that have got the experience. I mean, the guys that have been around this deal for 20 years. I mean, it's amazing how much better those guys are on stuff like that. And I mean, you know, you go a lot of these places, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better since I've got this car here from Billy. But I don't think I'm where I need to be yet by any means to where I could run up front with some of the big guys, you know.
Now you said you've gotten better. In a sense, what is it that you've gotten better at with the slick? I mean, what's helped you the most to be? Is it becoming more consistent, trying to be smoother, or something in the setup?
You know, I mean the car that Billy's got there, it's like a real balanced feel. I mean, you can steer a lot easier and everything, and you don't have to necessarily be kind of jerking around. And I think, like myself, whenever you feel more comfortable in a car, you get to where you can, I guess, actually feel what's going on, and you can pay attention to what you're feeling, you know, instead of wondering what's going to happen next, you know. And I think that's been kind of the biggest help for us, just being able to be comfortable.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine every lap being a variable or a wild card. Like, what the hell is going to happen next? I mean, that just would. I mean, you have too much more to worry about, like competitors.
Yeah.
So, what exactly happened with y'all? I mean, I know you guys. You made the feature. Were running pretty well, considering the situation with the speedway surface. But the yellow came out. They called over to the loudspeaker that was for you. Or did Pierce get into you, or who got into you to crumple that side of your race car?
The right side there, we were on that restart, and I think I talked to Austin Hubbard there afterwards, and he said
Austin, that's right.
That he broke a right front strut rod, and it just shot straight into me. So I mean, it wasn't his fault. It was just kind of a racing deal. But
because I didn't even know who it was.
Yeah, you look at his car, you wouldn't know. I mean, that's my car. It looked like a taco on the right side, but his car looked like he didn't even touch anybody. So I don't know.
So now, with the announcement of running the Lucas Oil deal, chasing the Rookie of the Year, I mean, is that something that you guys talked about prior to the season, or did you see things were heading in your guys' direction a little bit? Did you have a chance at it? What was the determining factor on making that decision?
I mean, I guess it's just, I don't know, I guess I just wanted to try something different. I mean, we do the same thing every year, always run around home there, and then run a lot of summer national races or all of them, just depending on how we're doing. And I don't know, I think it's just, try out some new racetracks. I mean, obviously, I don't know if we got a very good chance at it or not. I mean, the two people I'm racing against got dads that are Hall of Famers, you know, that they can ask for us. So, I mean, it makes it pretty tough, but hopefully we can, I don't know, see if they're going to have some good runs, I think, more than anything, it's just running with those guys and hoping to gain some experience.
But I hope making the commitment to follow the series for the season. I mean, did they get you on the tow money deal at least?
Yeah. I mean, they do. That's one thing they do definitely help out the people that run their series, and that's kind of hard to pass up. So,
And the one tire deal probably helped out, or the certain tires that probably helped out on cost, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, there at the beginning, I didn't think it was going to, because I mean everybody had to, had to buy the specific tires and all that. But I think in the long run, I think it's really going to be a good thing. That way, you don't have to have, 7 or 8 different compounds in your trailer trying to figure out what you're going to run and all that. And that's why I really think the UMP's got a really good deal. With like summer after you got 20, 30, 40, and most weekly shows you got 20, 40. I mean, that way you can have exactly what you need in any situation ready to go, rather than having to run to the tire truck and buy 4 tires every time. Whenever you make the show and you're worried about what to run, you got to have 3 different things ready for a right rear, 3 different things ready for a right front lifter. So I mean, I think it's definitely going to be a good thing.
The thing that was a shock to me is that those guys were talking about there was 4 and 5 different rib configurations for, say, like a 1600. It's not like that with UMP tires, right? I mean, an LM20 is an LM20 is an LM20. There's no different sidewalls or any of that, is there?
Right. No, I mean, as far as I know, you order a 9220, it's going to be the same tire regardless. That's kind of where, you kind of like racing up here in Illinois and stuff like that, we're kind of at a disadvantage where them guys down there, they know about the NRMs and, the wides and all that stuff that they can order. And, we go down there and they're speaking Spanish to me, whenever they're trying to figure out, or I'm trying to figure out what kind of tire to get, and that's why I kind of think it's a good thing for the sport. The less emphasis you can put on tires, the better.
Are those tires basically the same as a UMP tire then, Jason? The way they're constructed, the same sidewall and everything, do you know?
Yeah, it's just a block tire. The only one I guess that's really comparable is, it's basically the LO6 or whatever the 1600 is now. That thing, when I was talking to the Hoosier guy, he was telling me that it is the exact same thing as a 40. So, I'm guessing it's all the same, for the rest of the tires, construction-wise.
Yeah, that's kind of what my understanding was, but I haven't personally seen one or raced one. But yeah, that's the other thing, following that deal, it should definitely help you out, because I know when we go open tire racing, it really changes the way your car handles. That's I think why a lot of times, our guys from our area, we struggle when we do open tire races, but at the same time, when some of the guys that are open tire racers come to our area, they struggle when they have to switch over. So I think that'll definitely help the racing for everybody, everywhere.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good thing for sure.
And I think one people listening at home should know, as much as tires are on everybody's mind for this and that and other reasons, that
because it plays such a big part in what we do, Webb. It's really that big of a deal.
Well, it is that big of a deal, but the sport's pretty healthy overall. It has its ailments, as do most sports have their different things. But all in all, McBride, coming in this deal, you're pretty confident that the playing field is going to be pretty level for a guy coming in rookie of the year and everything, candidate wise.
Yeah, I hope so. I heard you go whenever I got on there, you guys were talking about the tire cheating and stuff like that. And I hope that at least whenever they got this tire that they made, are hoping that it's going to be the exact same every time. And then whenever they do run a test, they're going to be able to kind of narrow it down more. But like he was saying, you can't make the big guys the enemy, or then you don't fill the stands, kind of, you know what I mean? So
no, true. Yeah, that's. Let's say what's his name? The guy for Green Bay, the quarterback. What's his damn name?
Rodgers.
If Rodgers wasn't playing quarterback, if it was Webb Dillard, you all were not going to be happy about that in Green Bay country.
That's right.
But. Well, all right. Well, let's do this first. First of all, Jason McBride, thank you very much for taking time out of your day. I think I dropped the ball, forgot to email you the phone number, so that's my fault. But before we let you get out here, I need to get Jason Feger to go ahead and thank the sponsors and the crew members for the help you get that win over the weekend, the Illini 100.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to thank big special thanks to Devin Schickel. He's my main man. He's like my old brother, and he works his butt off. I couldn't do it without him. And my mom, my grandma, my brother, and the rest of the crew that helps at the track. And I got so many great sponsors, especially Ryan Motors with VP Racing Fuels and Action Suspension, Chris Richards, and then got Pro Tire Automotive, Titan, Box Seat, Cheap Cars. I mean, and the list goes on, and I got to thank all of them. I couldn't do it without them.
And we'll see you on the Hell Tour. Hopefully you guys will come down and race with us in the fall. Anytime I know that the Southern race fans, when you come down here, they're pretty excited to see you, Feger. So good luck with the rest of the season. I hope we'll see you at Speedway, man. Thanks, guys. Anytime you need a guest, let me know. Oh, you're on the top of the welcome back list. Okay, well we'll see you Friday, Jason. All right, see you later, bud. Jason Feger victorious over the weekend at Farmer City, the Illini 100. Now, and Jason, looking at your guys' schedule, of course you got everything listed here, which is you got the NDRL races that are this weekend, the rescheduled events, then Lucas Oil. We won't see you on a lot of the Hell Tour races this summer then if you're going to be Lucas Oil in it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, hopefully we can bounce around to some of the ones, and I mean the bad, like whenever we do the Hell Tour, you kind of got to run a lot of places you don't really want to run. So yeah. At least doing it this way, maybe we'll be able to just pick and choose the ones we want to do as long as it doesn't interfere with one of those points races, Well, I know I was at the Hell Tour. Well, you were at the Hell Tour at Belclair, Peevely, Clay Hill. I know you're on that stretch last year. Yeah. Then I love that freaking Peevely. As a fan, I'm a fan first, but as a fan, that place is just amazing. And Paducah was awesome. I won't ask you to say what is your least favorite tracks, but what are some of your favorite tracks on the Hell Tour? That's like Peevely there. We're actually a couple hours away from there, and that's the place that we go every time we got a Saturday off where we can go race where we want to race. That's the first place we go. And, I would say if it's not Peevely, it's going to be like, why not Mississippi? I really like that place. It's wide and fast, ain't it? That's right. And that's, that place. And then, like the Cedar Lake, whenever we go up there for the Summer Nationals, that's a lot of fun, too. So kind of anywhere you can got the big wide corners you can drive through, rather than kind of the little bitty places. And have you got a chance to go over to Magnolia Motor Speedway in Columbus? What you will this year at the Clash at the Mag, but have you been there before? The black ice? Yep, I have been there. I've never had a good run there, but I have been there, and I like the place. It just doesn't seem to like me too much so far. Well, that place there is if it does what it's supposed to do, typically does. It's just fast and slick, and you can move the car over the speedway. I was there though one night when we didn't start the feature till midnight, and it was heavy, and down here we just like the slicker tracks better. I know Brian will tell you out of Ohio that they don't like the slicker tracks up there. We like to beat the cushion down, man. Right. Well, Jason, I do apologize. I didn't have enough time to get around the pits. I wanted to come over and talk to you. We actually met at Belclair last year, but appreciate you taking time out of your Monday evening to talk with us here on In the Dirt. Before we let you get out here, I want you to thank the sponsors on the 77 car and any of the guys that helped turn the wrench on it. All right, I got to thank the Orthopedic Institute of Southern Illinois. They've come on here middle last year. They've been a big help, and Best One Tire, and All-Star Performance. And then I got my crew guy there, Sean Chiswick. He works his tail off every week and makes sure nothing falls off. And I got my dad. He's kind of my truck driver / motor guy. He's been a big help, and especially one of my bigger sponsors for sure. But I got to thank my mom, my wife, and all the family. They help us out a bunch. So I guess that's it. Well, I know your crew guy did his job this weekend because I didn't see anything fall off the car. No, and it definitely had every opportunity to, for sure. Oh my gosh! If you go out there with a magnet today, you probably could fill your toolbox with bolts and anything else that came off race cars. Well, I do. Right. Well, good luck in your pursuit of the Rookie of the Year. and go out there and get you some wins. I mean, you can put that 77 up front.
Yeah, we hope so.
Check out Jason McBride on the Lucas Oil Tour this year. Jason will check you out at the Speedway later down the road, man.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye. Jason McBride. Hey, that's one of my new favorites, too.
There you go. Right in there.
You know what I forgot to do today? And I have no problem admitting this on air.
What'd you do?
Well, as you know, I said earlier, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but 17 hours of driving this weekend. Between Saturday at 7:30 a.m. and got home at 6 last night.
That's almost like a trucker's life.
Yeah, so I did that. Plus, so I had 3 hours of sleep. So the rest of the time was spent at the racetrack. So whatever that math turns out to be, which is not all of it at the racetrack. Some of it was at the hotel getting the work done and whatnot. So, well, today I, just beat down, but my yard was looking pathetic, just looking terrible. My yard killing me. So I mowed and weed eated. I'm that guy. I have to have my yard looking good. It can't look like crap. I can't stand my yard. I mean, it's like when you need a haircut. You know how you look when you need a haircut? That's what my yard looked like today. So I spent the afternoon after I got the show done and took care of the yard. Well, I didn't turn in my top 25 to Dirt on Dirt, and I apologize.
Oh.
But had I turned it in, and I didn't even do it. It didn't dawn on me until about an hour into the show that I hadn't done it. I was like, damn it. Had I done it, Jimmy Owens would have moved up. And Donnie O would have moved down. He was at number 3, and if he'd have been a little more conservative, I think. I don't know. I don't know how much the track played into his flat tire, or how much of him being Don O'Neill. And I like Don. I don't know. I mean, Don's just one of the balls to the wall guys. I would have left Josh and Darrell up there. Feger would have jumped up. What I'll do is I'll do it just like I would have turned it in, and I'll post it on In the Dirt Facebook page. But how about the show tonight? How about the show tonight, Brian?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's always good to have Feger come on, because you know that he's just going to say whatever he feels. So I had to put that out there to him with.
I love the idea of sealed a bag tire, because the tires are collapsed anyway when you buy them. So what would putting a plastic bag on it do as far as cost wise?
Well, for one, it's gonna keep it fresh.
Fresh, it won't dry rot.
There's number one. So it's going to keep it fresh. But the big thing that he was talking about, and I never did think about this, was you go somewhere, you buy a tire, and then say you hold on to it for a few weeks, and then you're like, you know what, I don't need this tire. We're not going to run that. If it's in the middle of summer, you typically aren't going to need a 1200 or something. And you take and you return that tire. Well, then they just resell that to somebody else. What if, and this is a big if, what if, you prep them tires up and say something didn't quite go right with your mix. And you say, well, you know what, I don't want this tire. We're going to send it back. Get another one. And then some other random person ends up with that tire. So, I mean, that's a good point.
Well, the tire companies will take back a tire from you now? Have you had it a couple weeks?
Yeah, you can hang on to a tire for a few weeks and take it back to a dealer someplace where you got it and swap it out for something different. That happens regularly. I mean, say you got a brand new 1350 folded up in your trailer, and you needed a 1600. Well, instead of dropping the $160 or whatever the tire is, you just grab that 1350 and trade it in for a 1600.
It just seems to me that, and I know the tire companies don't want to. I know they don't. I mean, I've talked to enough people.
They're over. Well, I'm sorry, but there's not $160 worth of. I wish somebody could come on. I know that they could come on and explain to me why it's the tire is $160. there's going to be, well, we got to pay this much to this guy, and this organization rules this tire, so we got to give them their money for their point fund, and that's really what it boils down to. I think you got basically an $85 tire that by the time all the money gets distributed to all the different entities, it's $160.
And and also a disclaimer here. We don't talk about tires every week, by no means. And even you and I have had conversations offline and said, hey, let's not talk about tires for a while.
It always seems to go back to that, and the reason why I think it's an important topic and why I think people should understand it is because it's such a big deal. I don't think people realize that there's 5 different 1600s, and tires can be purchased. And when I'm talking about open tires, you can get 1600s, 1550s, 1500s, 1475s, 1425s, 1450s, 1350s, 1300s. I think I've seen a 1325, and then there's LM10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. And now you've got the Lucas tires, the Lucas oil number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you got the different speedway tires, like some of the tracks down in the south that have their own tires. So then you have another 1600 that has to be, this tire for this track.
It gets to be a little confusing, sounds like.
Yeah, it's to the point of ridiculousness is what it is, and it's great for a series like World of Outlaws where the guys have basically unlimited budgets and they can buy. When they go, they don't go and they don't order 4 tires. They order a damn truckload at a time and sort through it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
For them, it's no big deal, and that's great for them. You know why? Because that means they got to pay somebody else to go and sort through those tires. So, that's giving somebody a job in a sense. And it's great for the tire company because they sell a bunch of tires. But for regular racers, weekly racers, it's an absolute nightmare. Just a nightmare. And then on top of that, you have to worry about somebody altering the compound of the tire to make it more like another, or, maybe to give it an effect that a tire that is not available on the market. So they add to, take away from. It's not just it's a whole slew of stuff. You would have to have an entire team dedicated to tires just to operate your race team. Crazy.
Well, maybe it'll get straightened out someday, but.
Hey, they're selling tires, buddy. If they're selling tires, who knows? Maybe they just say, hey, Mr. Whoever at so-and-so organization, we'll add another $10 per tire to your point fund to just let this go. And then they pass it on to me.
Whew. Well, all right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody that's joined us on the program tonight. I'd like to thank Chris Fox, crew chief for the Jimmy Owens number 20 Bloomquist race car. I'd like to thank winner over the weekend at Talladega Short Track, ended in nearly a 5-year drought. Also a weekly listener, Brian Ponder. Congratulations, Brian. Big win. I'd like to thank Jason Feger. Always great to have Mr. Feger on the program. I would almost consider making him take Kyle's place.
That would be great.
Jason, we'll give you theme music, buddy. We'll give you theme music and we'll put the what's that box company? What's the company called? We should really see if Jason wants to be our third guy.
Oh, and he doesn't care.
He's definitely
he will let anybody know how it is.
That's definitely awesome. Box seat. Thank you to Derek Walden, who is our crack research person somewhere in Kentucky. No, he's in Indiana. He's
Indiana.
Yeah. He's either a Hoosier who's a Kentucky fan, which is terrible, or he's a transplanted Kentuckian who swam over in the shade. That's what the bridge is for. On 65 from Louisville to Jeffersonville, Indiana. You know what that bridge is for, right?
What's that?
It's for the Kentuckians to swim over in the shade.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, I also like to thank Jason McBride, Rookie of the Year candidate, Lucas Oil. Not maybe the result he wanted, finishing 16th over at Lone Star, but he was in the show, and he was making laps on the motocross track over there. It was rough, man. It was bad rough.
I'm going to have to watch that.
Oh, yeah. But it's still a great race. I mean, it made it great for the fans. I mean, even Owens commented in Victory Lane. He's like, hey, from a fan standpoint, this had everything you wanted. Lead changes, passes, cars nearly tumping over.
I spent my weekend watching Chad Stapleton interviews.
We need to get Chad back on. He did a good job for us there at East Bay, but we need more.
Chad, you know what? I think Chad had surgery today, Webb.
Do we know on what? Are we allowed to disclose on what?
I don't know on what, but I heard that he had a medical condition. He was having surgery today, and he's going to be out of the race car for a little while. So maybe it'd be a good time to get him on for some commentary.
We would if indeed he did have surgery, we certainly would want to wish him a speedy recovery. Well, Derek Walden knows, but still, I don't know if it's a HIPAA violation for me to mention what his medical condition is. But let's just say I had the same surgery, and I was
getting his nuts enlarged, so he can get on the list for.
I don't think that he needs his nuts enlarged anyway. Jesus. Oh, goodness. Well, all right. Like I said, thank all our guests for joining us here on In the Dirt. Brian Gray, any closing thoughts?
I'd like to thank Airflow Research so much. Webb, have you ever heard of a high-performance race company warranty race parts?
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't. Well, let me tell you something. Those guys absolutely stood behind their product, and I thank them so, so much. I didn't even think about it, and I just kind of out of whim, I called them, told them the issue that I was having. They said, hey, send us the part. We'll take a look at it. And I'm glad to say that Airflow Research is sending me a brand new set of cylinder heads.
Nice.
So we'll have a motor real soon.
According to Derek Walden, crack research staff here at In the Dirt, Bub McCool and Austin Hubbard were there massaging the feet of Stapleton in recovery, and that Hubbard is driving the 32 the Bad Chad machine, Captain Chaos 32 car in the NDRL races this coming weekend at Peebly and Paducah. So get well, Chad. Come on the show and use words you shouldn't use.
Yeah,
because according to some people I talked to, we haven't scared all the kids off yet. We need to scare all the kids off. This isn't PG-13. This is NC-17.
Yeah, you better have some filters on them ears, especially when Chad's on.
Well, no, Chad's always done real. The only time was when you instigated him, like our 7th show.
I do take that back. Now, I will say this: Chad has kind of he's turned commercial on us.
He's still badass, though. He's still a badass.
No, he's turned a lot commercial, I think. He's came a long way from smoking crack and drinking.
He's been what do they call it? He's been rehabilitated.
He got neutered, and he's having surgery to get him back. I'm telling you.
That's pretty good. Now, hey, by the way, a significant date this summer that we need to remember, and we got to do something somewhat special, but I'm pretty sure that we have either it's at the end of the summer. I have to go back and look at the exact date, but we're coming up on our 100th show.
Wow.
I mean, not anytime soon, not next week, not next month, it's a little while, but it's coming up on us. We're gonna have our 100th show soon. That's pretty cool.
That's a what do they call that?
Milestone.
There we go.
Some people might call it Well, yeah, a milestone.
It's a milestone. A historical moment.
I couldn't have imagined even doing 10 shows when we started. Just be honest. I know who we are and what we're not.
It was done after 15. I knew it.
But we managed to get the people to listen, and we hope we entertain everybody.
It's still growing.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're not, neither one of us are Walter Cronkite or whatever hell his name is. Neither one of us we're not Dan
Walter
Rather.
Cronkite.
What is his name? Cronkite? Cronkite.
Yes, it's Cronkite.
Okay, whatever.
I was just making fun of your Cronkite.
We're neither of those two. Cronkite or or Loctite. We're none of those. Although we would like Loctite as a sponsor.
Sure.
You should get that performance place. You did a hell of it. That was a good reader. In the business, that's called a reader.
Oh, for airflow research?
Yeah, you introduced a product in conversation, and people listen to conversation, and that was a good job. I commend you on that. That's a technique. You're natural.
Hey, I was just being thankful to those guys. Let me tell you, I was really concerned about my race season if that didn't work out.
You should send a clip to that part of the show to them.
But I would not have ever. I would have never even known that they would even think about warrantying it. If I hadn't seen they had some kind of ad somewhere.
What's their website? Let's do this. What's their website? And then if anybody buys anything, tell them that Brian Gray from In the Dirt told you to call.
Airflowresearch.com. They make cylinder heads. And honestly, they make really good cylinder heads. And the reason why I chose to go with that group of people was because I read Smokey Unick's book, and he mentions them in his book.
Wow. Okay. Well, definitely send them a clip of the show as another thank you. Well,
Yep.
I'm gonna put a fork in this one. Any closing thoughts, Mr. Gray?
Just thoughts and prayers with the Larry Moreland family, that's all.
All right, coming up this weekend is the rescheduled event in the inaugural season of the NDRL. Good luck to Mr. Kennedy getting that series going. I am off this weekend due to rescheduling of the Rumble on the Gumbo at Greenville, Mississippi's Greenville Speedway. So I'll be in Greenville in 2 weeks, basically. After that, I don't know what's going on. I know I got some stuff coming up, for sure. But for all our guests, for Brian Gray, for Airflow, what was it?
Airflow Research.
Airflow Research. You've been listening to In the Dirt, and we'll talk to you next week.